Good day, my wonderful students at home. I'm Abbas Shehu, your usual commerce teacher. I'm here today to take you on a new topic, which is known as credit. Under this topic, we intend to cover the following areas. 1, meaning of credit. 2, reasons for credit. 3, advantages and disadvantages of credit. 4, types and sources of credit. Now, going into the first one, which is meaning of credit. What do we mean when we talk about credit as far as commerce is concerned, as far as buying and selling is concerned? Credit is a privilege of delayed payment extended to a buyer on the seller's belief that what is given will be paid. What is given in terms of goods or services will be paid and paid at a later time. It refers to granting of goods or services to a buyer without money being paid instantly, but with a promise to pay at a later time or date. Now, this is what we mean by credit. Let's now go to reasons for or basis for credit. Why do we give credit? Why are sellers selling their goods on credit? They sell goods on credit for the following reasons. They sell goods to buyers on credit, 1, because of the income of the buyer. They look at the income of the buyer. The income of the buyer will help the seller to know whether the buyer will be able to pay the amount of goods bought on credit or not. 2, they look at the source of payment. How is it going to be paid? Is it going to be paid through salary? Is it going to be paid through another means? The source of payment is very, very important. It helps the seller to know whether the goods are to be sold on credit or not. Number 3, the integrity of the buyer. Is this somebody that is trustworthy, that can pay the amount of goods bought on credit? Number 4, availability of grantors. Who are those that are standing as grantors in case the buyer is not able to pay? Who are those that will pay? Number 5, the present employment of the buyer. What is his employment? Is he gainfully employed? Is he somebody that has the means to pay? All these things are consideration before a credit is offered to a buyer. Number 6, which is the last one, time of payment. How long is it going to take for the amount to be paid? Is it going to be within 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, so on and so forth? The timing, whether the credit will be given or not. These are the basis of credit. Now we go straight into advantages of credit. Advantages of credit are as follows. 1, it leads to an increase in the total volume of sales. 2, it leads to increase in the profit of a business. 3, it helps in solving the problem of stock being tied down. Where goods are sold on credit, the seller is having the opportunity of increasing the total number of sales, the total number of his net sales, as well as the total profit expected of him to get at the end of the business. And it helps to reduce goods being tied down. Number 4, it provides customers with the opportunity of having goods or services without being paid for at that particular time. Customers are allowed to have possession of goods, use of goods, without paying instantly at that particular point in time. Number 5, or rather 4, it leads to improved standard of living of people, where people are allowed possession of goods, are allowed to make use of goods without paying for such goods at that particular material time. Their life will definitely, their standard of living will definitely raise, will definitely increase. Instead of them to be waiting until they have money before they buy what they want to buy, use or consume. Number 5, it leads or it increases or encourages bulk purchase. If you, for example, you have 1,000 naira to buy goods, and the seller allows you to buy more than what you have at hand, that will help you to buy more of the goods. Number 6, it provides means of satisfying other wants. It provides means of satisfying other wants. Let's assume you have 1,000 naira and you want to buy something with this, and the seller allows the goods for you on credit. You can still use that 1,000 naira to take care of other needs. And this is achieved as a result of credit being offered to you as a buyer. Now we move to the disadvantages of credit. 1, it leads to increase in the prices of goods and services. Some sellers, because they are selling goods on credit, they increase the price. Unlike when you are buying, instantly making cash payment. Number 2, it makes customers to overbuy goods or services. There are some people who are credit inclined. Whenever they see something that is sold on credit, they rush to buy. And thereby making them to overbuy goods to the extent of even buying what they don't even need. Number 3, it can lead to unrecoverable or bad debt. When you sell goods on credit to customers, different customers, you are likely to meet some that will not pay, and thereby declaring the credit as bad or the debt as bad. Number 4, the capital of a business can be tied down. Where you sell on credit continuously, your capital will definitely be affected. You may not be able to go to market and buy new stock until your debtors pay you before you can go to market and restock your store or shop. Number 5, it leads, or it can also lead to liquidation of a business, closing down of a business, collapse of a business, where you have unrecoverable debt, where you have a lot of people that cannot pay you what they buy from you, then you are likely to close down because your capital may not be there. You may not have the financial ability to continue. Number 6, it can also lead to court cases. Yes, where it is dark, where you have a problem with recovering your debt, issues can come up that may lead you to court. Number 7, sellers can repossess the goods sold. That's another disadvantage. Sellers can repossess the goods sold. When they sell goods to you on credit and you're not able to pay, sometimes if the goods are, especially durable goods that are not perishable, you can repossess your goods. Number 8, the last one here, it involves a lot of record keeping. When you are selling goods on credit, you have to be writing down who you sell to, what you sell to, him or her, how much does it cost, so on and so forth. It involves a lot of record keeping. If you want to actually remember those that you sold the goods on credit. That's talking about advantages and disadvantages of credit. Now we go to types and sources of credit. Types and sources of credit. If you like, you can call them types, or you can refer to them as sources of credit. Number 1 is what you call mortgage. Number 2 is hire purchase. Number 3 is loans and overdrafts. Number 4, deferred payment. Number 5, credit cards. Number 6, hiring and leasing. Number 7, book me down. Number 8, credit check or voucher. Number 9, monthly account. Number 10, debt factoring. And the last one we have here, number 11, conditional credit source. There are others. So we look at them one by one, but for the purpose of this class, we are going to talk about only 2. We will take a look at mortgage, and then we look at hire purchase. What do we understand by a mortgage? This is a system of credit in which building societies or mortgage banks assist people to buy landed property or houses by lending them a proportion of the purchase money. They give them a proportion of the purchase money, a portion of the money required to have the house or to have the piece of land. In most cases, they build houses, and they build these houses and give these houses in form of credits for the buyer to pay bit by bit, taking a longer period of time. That's what you mean by mortgage as a source or type of credit. Now we go to we have an example of a mortgage bank, which is a Federal Mortgage Bank. Federal Mortgage Bank. We have others in states, but this one is at federal level. Now we go to the second one, which is hire purchase. Hire purchase, and this is a very big topic, a very broad topic. That there are a lot of things that we need to talk here. And of course, as students, I want you to pay attention attentively to get what we are saying, because there are so many things here that overlap. Now let's look at what we mean by hire purchase. What is the meaning of hire purchase? Hire purchase is a system whereby the buyer or hirer has possession and the use of goods, while the owner retains the ownership of the goods until the final payment is made. And this is normally associated with durable goods. Those goods that take a long period of time in terms of usage. It is a type of agreement which is usually done in writing and must be signed by both parties involved. That is talking about the buyer and the seller. Now we go to features of hire purchase. Number 1, buyers can only take full possession after last payment is made. Let's assume you are giving out keke nape, for example, on hire purchase basis. You will not have full possession of the keke. No, you will be given the machine for you to be using the machine, but the ownership of that machine will not be yours until you make the final payment. Until the final payment is made. 2, it is only good for durable goods. It is only good for durable goods, which means you cannot have this system of credit in terms of perishable goods. Only durable goods that can take, like I said, very long period of time in terms of usage. Number 3, it must be evidenced in writing and signed. Whatever you enter as agreement between buyer and seller, whatever is entered as agreement between buyer and seller must be in written form and must be signed by both parties. Number 4, the seller has the right to repossess the goods in case of default, where the buyer defaults in terms of completing the payment. In terms of paying the last installment, the seller has the right to repossess the goods. Number 5, it attracts higher price. When goods are given on higher purchase basis, they normally attract high or higher price compared to when you are going to buy. It's in cash. compared to when you go to the market to buy with your money using cash. Number 6, the cash and the hire purchase price must be stated. And this is what most of us don't do. When somebody is giving you any kind of goods on hire purchase, the price of the goods on hire purchase must be stated, and the market price. How much is it going to cost when you, for example, go to buy it in the market? These two prices must be stated in the agreement you are to sign. Number 7, the goods remain under the hire purchase until the final payment is made. Now, number 8, the act establishing the hire purchase states that if the customer had paid more than 1/3, the buyer has paid more than 1/3 of the total amount due, the owner could reclaim it only and only if he obtains a court order. This is very important. That where the buyer pays more than 1/3 of the amount of the goods bought, the seller has no right to repossess the goods. He can only do so through a court order. That is, it is only court that can give that order. Number 9, the copy of the agreement must be made available within 14 days. No matter how long it takes, it shouldn't be more than 14 days for everybody to have a copy, in terms of the buyer, in terms of the seller. Now she's talking about the features of hire purchase. Now we go to difference between hire purchase and credit sales. Credit sale. In terms of hire purchase, say the hire purchase is a contract whereby the buyer takes possession of the goods with an agreement to pay the price instrumentally. The buyer takes the goods with the agreement of paying for the rest of the money, bit by bit. Whereas credit sales, on the other hand, is a contract of sale where the buyer takes possession and ownership of the goods. Possession and ownership of the goods. But in terms of hire purchase, the buyer only takes possession of the goods. He does not take ownership of the goods until final payment of the goods is made. But in terms of credit sales, the buyer immediately buys the goods on credit. He's allowed to take possession of the goods as well as ownership of the goods. Now we go to advantages of hire purchase to the seller. We are going to look at two different things from two different angles. One, we'll look at advantages of hire purchase to the seller, and then again look at advantages of hire purchase to the buyer. Then we look at disadvantages of hire purchase to the seller, and then disadvantages of hire purchase to the buyer. So let's look at the first one. Advantages of hire purchase to the seller. Number 1 is facilitates the promotion of durable goods. It helps the seller to sell durable goods as quickly as possible, dispose them as quickly as possible. Number 2, it increases profit as a result of higher prices. Of course, we talk about higher prices. So when the prices are high, the profit, of course, will be high too. Number 3, it increases the rate of turnover. We have mentioned this when we're talking about advantages. Number 3, it leads to large production as a result of increased demand, because people are there demanding for the goods to be bought on hire purchase. And because of that demand, you have increase in terms of production. Number 4, the seller can repossess the goods. The seller can repossess the goods. Remember, we're talking about advantages to the seller. He can repossess the goods. Number 5, the seller retains possession until last payment is made. Then we go to these advantages of hire purchase to the seller. Number 1, a lot of capital is tied down. Number 2, customer may fail to pay, thereby creating bad or unrecoverable debt. Number 3, court action can bring about additional expenses. When you go to court, of course, you must pay litigation costs, so lawyer, so on and so forth. Number 4, goods repossessed may be difficult to sell. Sometimes after being used and you repossess the goods, it may be difficult to sell. Number 5, it may lead to court action, which is time consuming. Number 6, there is possibility of customers running with the goods. Now we have advantages of hire purchase to the buyer. 1, the buyer enjoys possession of the goods even when final amount is not paid. Number 2, it allows or affords the buyer the opportunity of repossessing the expensive goods which he could not have afforded. Number 3, it helps in general improvement of the standard of living of the buyer. For buyers have the opportunity of obtaining credit from other sources rather than the banks. Number 5, the goods can be returned before completion of payment where the need arises. These are the advantages. Now we go to the disadvantages of hire purchase to the buyer. 1, customer may be tempted to overbuy. The amount charged is usually higher than the purchase price, the cash price. There is high rate of interest leading to higher price. There is little power of bargaining as the result of the need of the buyer to possess the goods. The buyer has no power of bargaining because the goods are going to be sold to him on credit. The buyer may be liable to demand high quality. The buyer may not be able to demand high quality because of the financial position. He may not be able to demand for higher quality. Why? Because he has no money to pay. Why? Because he's going to take more time in paying than when it is buying on ordinary credit source. Now, we go to effect of hire purchase on buyer. Now, number 1, it helps him to beat any future rise in price. It helps the buyer to beat any future rise in price. When you buy goods, for example, today at a particular rate, maybe in 2-3 months, there may be inflation that will make the price to go up. But because you were able to buy it from months back, you are okay with that. You are true. You will not fall a victim of that kind of a thing. Number 2, it helps in convenient payment of goods because the money is paid bit by bit. Number 3, goods are possessed even in the absence of full payment. Number 4, buyer pays more for the goods. Number 5, he enjoys increased standard of living. Number 6, the buyer can be sued in case of default. We talk about a court case. Number 7, he can return the goods even after paying 50%. Then we quickly now go to effect of hire purchase on a seller. 1, there is increase in sales. The seller will definitely have increase in terms of his sales. Number 2, seller gets more profit. Number 3, it helps in disposal of durable and expensive goods. Number 4, the last one, it increased bad debt. Number 5, repossessed goods may be so bad to the extent of finding it difficult to sell. Number 6, seller can repossess his goods. Number 7, the last one, he will incur additional costs to collect the necessary installments in terms of record keeping. That's just about what we have as far as this class is concerned. We are going straight into assignment because of time. Number 1, A is saying what is credit? What is credit? B, mention any 4 types of credit. Number 2A, what is hire purchase? Number 2B, stage 4, advantages and 4 disadvantages of hire purchase. Then number 3, the last one, mention any 5 bases for credit in business. I repeat the questions. Number 1, A, what is credit? B, mention any 4 types of credit. Number 2A, what is hire purchase? B, state 4 advantages and 4 disadvantages of hire purchase. Number 3, the last one, mention any 5 bases for credit in business. You can reach us through these numbers as usual after you have completed your assignment. Number 1 is Abbas Shehu on 081 00127508. Abbas Shehu on 081 00127508. And then Yeri Zakaria on 08065694134. Yari Zakaria on 08065694134. Stay home, stay safe, keep learning. Have a nice time.